Welcome to the Wolfpack Sports Wire, a podcast from the athletic department at Whitefield Academy. Whitefield Academy is a Christ-centered pre-K through 12 college preparatory school located in Smyrna, Georgia. On this show, we highlight our hardworking coaches and student athletes who are excelling in and out of competition. Welcome to the Wolfpack Sports Wire. I'm your host, Jack Hunter. We've got a great inaugural episode today as we'll be hearing from our football coach, Robert Walsh, and our cross-country coach, Zach Justice. In the fall, we'll be talking to Coach Walsh every week, and we'll follow that with coverage of all of our teams competing. Today, our conversation with Coach Walsh comes after Whitefield's 38-28 loss in the season opener last Friday to Savannah Christian.
I mean, it was pretty awesome to see our community kind of stick around through that lightning delay and really pack the stands and create a unique environment for our boys. As that was going on, I was trying to explain to our boys, whoever handles this adversity better, they're going to start fast. And unfortunately, Savannah Christian handled it a little bit better than we did, and they started fast. And but definitely proud of our community and the support that was shown to our program.
Yeah, there was a lot that happened in the game. I mean, it was really a tale of two halves. You guys went into the halftime break down a lot, into the game, made it a competitive game. When you were able to kind of sit back after the game over the weekend and this morning and kind of look at the tape, what were your overall reactions to week one?
I mean, you look at the first half, there was definitely plays to be made, especially on the offensive side of the ball, where we just maybe overthrew a receiver by a few yards, or maybe missed a block here that would have sprung us free. I definitely think if we hit one or two of those plays and make it a 28-14 game in that first half, I think it's a different ball game for sure. The second half, I was very proud of our kids just showing fight and resilience. I mean, you talk about being down 28-0, old Whitefield teams, we would have folded the 10 up and started thinking about next week. So very proud of the fight they showed in the second half and making it a really competitive game.
We alluded to it, the lightning delay. I mean, the game got delayed by at least an hour and a half. And you guys had to go in the weight room, kind of crowd in, not your traditional locker room, and just kind of sit it out. So that's another element of it too. So when you consider that, the whole delay, and then coming out and getting down big, what did it mean to you to see your team really late at night, like way past a lot of people's bedtimes in the stands, come out in the second half and put up the performance that they did?
They just responded. I mean, at halftime, we made some adjustments defensively. Our kids played better in the second half defensively. And then I just told our offense, I said, guys, there's several miscues that happened that put us behind the chains, or we would have success and then we'd get an incomplete pass to create 2nd and 10. I just told the guys, just let's move on to the next play. Let's play our game and settle in like it's 0-0. And then at the end of the game, we'll look up at the scoreboard and see what happens.
Yeah, a hallmark of Savannah Christian's their offensive line, their physicality up front. I mean, I was tallying unofficial stats, but had almost like 300 yards in the first half. And then in the second half, they only ran the ball. So obviously that was a challenge for you guys, but coming out of that game, what can benefit you guys playing a team like that can just really drive the football and be really physical on the line of scrimmage like that?
I think, I tell our boys all the time, we're trying to get to where Savannah Christian, the Hebron Christians, the Prince Avenues, the Fellowship Christians, the Wesleyan, we're trying to get to the point where people are talking about us being in those quarterfinals or laters year in and year out. And playing a team like that and competing against a team like that the way we did, I think shows that, we're very, very close to being one of those teams that people talk about late in the season. I think it gave our kids some confidence in the second half, realizing, okay, we can play with a team like this. We just have to put together a whole football game. So I think it definitely benefits us early in the season, seeing that. I was impressed with our conditioning and stamina through the game. I think Coach Pollard, as our strength coach, has done a great job of preparing our young men. I mean, you look across the sideline to the other side, there's a lot of cramps and a lot of guys going out of the game for that reason. But I think we've done a good job preparing our team and getting them ready for Friday nights.
Yeah, in the second half, we saw a lot of different things, a lot of different good things. One of which that I saw was the passing game that came out. Obviously, you're down 4 touchdowns. You have to start airing the ball out. You can't hand the ball off every play. But some of the passes that were slightly overthrown or not on the same page with receivers in the first half were dialed in the second half. I mean, you guys were spraying the ball all around the field in the second half. What confidence does that give you going forward that you guys can not only, you have a big running back, Mason Hollingsworth, but you guys can air the ball out all over the yard?
I think we are definitely have a bunch of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. You look at our receiving core, I mean, we can roll out 7 or 8 dudes out there that can go make a play for us, which most teams don't have that. I definitely think Landon has grown up a lot in a year. I have full confidence in him. If it turns into a game where we have to air it out, I trust him fully. I thought our O-line, I mean, you're talking about he really didn't get touched the whole game. And their D-line was just as good as their O-line and just as big. So I'm extremely confident in our passing game. I think if we're a 50-50 team and teams can be kind of scared of our passing game as well as our run game, I think it gives us definitely an advantage.
Yeah, you guys had a few more possessions than they did. Part of the reason that was the case was an onside kick that you guys fell on in the second half. Special teams, obviously, kind of the third aspect of the game. People don't really pay attention, talk about it too much, but it seemed like a pretty well-executed onside kick. And what confidence does that give you, because you're going to have probably those moments later in the season where you're going to have to execute those type of plays.
Liam had to come in and kick for us with Cole going down with an injury, and I have full confidence in all 3 of our kickers. I mean, they get a lot of reps at practice. They do a good job on their own too, Liam and Bo Bradford. So I have full confidence in our special teams. We did have a miscue to start the game. Our first kickoff return, I don't think Parker kind of realized where he was on the field and kind of just stepped out at the 2-yard line. That's not exactly where you want to start your first offensive possession of the season. But after that, I thought we settled in special teams wise and had a big kickoff return later. But I think special teams wise, Coach Henderson and Coach Kruger and Coach Bentley do a really good job preparing our boys.
So you turned to week 2 playing Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon kind of had a similar type game versus Darlington where they were down huge at halftime and they outscored Darlington 20-0 in the second half. So they're coming in kind of a similar situation, tale of 2 halves. What do you notice about Mount Vernon when you turn on the tape?
Extremely athletic. Their receiver, Rollins, number 11, he had 10 catches for 136 yards for 2 touchdowns against Darlington. Really good ball skills too. A couple of those throws, the quarterback just threw it up to him and he made a play. So we're definitely going to have to be aware of where he's at constantly in their formations. They want to get the ball to their athletes in space and allow them to make plays. Their freshman quarterback is pretty good. Doesn't look like a freshman on film right now. So we're going to have to do some things to try to confuse him a little bit defensively with our coverage and disguising a few things to hopefully he'll throw it to us. But definitely very athletic. Their O-line's big up front. They rotate a few running backs back there that run physical and hard. Defensively, their defensive backs are very physical and play aggressive downhill. So our receivers are going to have to block well on the perimeter for certain stuff and have some good route running to beat these guys. But up front, their D-line's really big. Linebackers are physical, will come down and hit you. So, I think they're a very good football team. I think, they're going to get better from week 1 to week 2, and I hope we just are able to get better as well.
So the game kicks off at 4:30 as all their home games do. They do not have lights in their stadium. Is that going to be a challenge for your team? Because usually, you got a 7:30 kick. You got some time to kind of relax, eat, kind of de-stress from the school day. And you guys are going to have to leave right in the middle of the school day. Is that going to be different, moving the clock up a little bit?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different. We probably won't have our traditional pregame meal, sit down and all that stuff. They'll probably just eat lunch, and we'll get them out of school right after lunch and maybe have a snack or something for them. But everything's just kind of sped up. We got to remind our boys to hydrate, take care of their bodies over this week because it is going to be hot at 4:30. That wet bulb doesn't matter when it's game time. So our boys are going to have to hydrate, and we're going to have to do a good job of taking care of their bodies, making sure they're ready to go.
So Mount Vernon's game on Friday got suspended, and they had to finish it Saturday. So you guys effectively kind of have an extra day on them. Do you think, kind of in your shoes from your previous experience, having to finish a game on Saturday, because you guys did have a game on Saturday last year, is that a real big disadvantage when you lose a day compared to the team that you're playing?
I think it could be just because of the offense Darlington runs as far as running triple option and being very physical. I think that could take a toll a little bit on your bodies and maybe not having that extra day of recovery. Maybe, they may have to hold a couple guys out of practice on Monday and stuff like that and throw timing off. But other than that, I don't think it'll have that big of an effect on the game.
All right, Coach Walsh, I appreciate your time. Good luck this week.
All right, Jack, I appreciate it, and go Pat.
Our next guest is varsity boys and girls cross-country coach Zach Justice. Coach Justice is a Whitefield lifer. After running for Whitefield in high school, Zach was an assistant coach for the boys state championship team in 2023 and the boys state runner-up team last year. He takes the reins of a strong boys and girls program this year, and we're glad to sit down with him to discuss the season ahead. Zach, how are you doing today?
Doing great.
So you're in your first year as head coach of the boys team, but you're a Whitefield lifer, 3-year captain when you were here at Whitefield, 2 years as an assistant coach, and those 2 seasons, the prior 2 seasons, were great seasons by the team, and now you step in to be the head coach. I want to know, what does it mean to be the head coach of a team that you've put so much into over the years?
Yeah, it definitely means a lot to me. I was impacted greatly by this team when I was on it, by my coaches and my teammates. It's a really special culture to me to be able to pour back into it and give in the ways that I received. One thing I will add, I am also the head girls coach, which is something I'm really excited about continuing. We've got some awesome girls out running this year, and we're really looking to build that team up as well, which is something we're really excited about as well.
So you're a first-year head coach, which brings a lot of interesting and new and fun challenges. You're the highest man on the totem pole for these teams. So what are some things that you've learned that you can really only learn by experience being a head coach?
Yeah, there is definitely a lot to learn when sort of the buck stops with you. I really do like to think of it in a little bit of an upside down way. Instead of thinking of myself as the highest on the totem pole, more of how can I serve our team and our kids, and how can I steward the gift of this program, because we have been very fortunate as a program. The Lord has blessed it in a lot of ways, with a lot of great kids and a lot of great athletes, and so that has sort of been my focus and my drive, is how can I serve these kids and build relationships with them. Of course, we really enjoy winning, and we've been blessed with success on the boys' side for a long time now, but trying to focus myself and then helping our kids focus on what are the lessons that we can learn, and what are the ways that we can serve each other and grow closer to the Lord. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of nuts and bolts, while also trying to manage, emotions and people and those sorts of things, which is a fun puzzle to sort of get to put together. Fortunately, we have a great team of assistant coaches with Coach K and Coach Tad, and we also have a lot of great senior upperclassmen leadership and kids who are really bought in. So it makes my job easy, and I get to focus on the fun stuff.
Yeah, the first meet of the season was this past weekend for the boys and the girls. We'll get to that in a second, but I just want to know, how was the summer and kind of before the school year began, preseason? How was preseason training? Because especially it's Georgia, it's August, it's hot, and coming off of the summer when they're not in school, it can be challenging to get up to like race stamina, especially at the beginning of the season. So how did that go? Yeah,
so we have had for about a decade now a really good culture of working out over the summer. Not the whole team won't come, they're high schoolers, so they've got camp and vacation and those sorts of things, which is good to have an off season and rest a bit. But our team, both guys and girls, were very diligent this summer about coming out, and we have a lot of fun over the summer. It's a little more laid back. It is hot, which is actually really good for training, running. There's some physiological benefits to running in the heat if you can handle it. But yeah, we're not totally in race shape right now. And that's a good thing. Actually, what we're focused on in the summer is building a nice foundation, and then we'll put the pieces on top of that as the season goes. We have a saying, we're fast when it counts, which means at the end of the race and at the end of the season. And so we're building right now, and our kids did an excellent job of being out there and putting in work to lay that foundation, which we now get to be together as a whole team, 5-6 days a week, and really continue to put those finishing touches on there.
Yeah, as a middle school assistant coach, hearing you say that there's benefits of running in the heat, that's going to fuel me.
Yeah.
Because the past few days, it's been hot out there with our middle schooler. So anyway, I mentioned first meet of the season was at Westminster, the Koch Classic this past weekend. It's a good course. Boys finished in 4th, girls finished in 9th. What were kind of your overall takeaways from the meet?
Yeah, so it was really fun to just finally get out there in the field of competition and see where we're at. That's always my focus and my message in these early meets. Something I learned from my collegiate coaches at Wheaton College is these early meets, obviously we want to compete and put our best foot forward, but they're mostly barometers, measuring sticks for us to see where we're at and what we need to work on. And to that end, we really learned a lot about who we are as a team and where we are. We've got some great results on Saturday. Lucy Blee and Roman Ailstock both finished in the top 10 and had some pretty good races. And we had some races where kids were maybe a little disappointed in their performance, which is okay. And I think that's sort of the highs and lows of running and managing a team of this size and of this many individuals. We have individual performance and team performance. So my focus is let's go in and let's learn. We were missing a few runners on the boys' side. We had Austin Mobley out with a little bit of Achilles tightness. So he wasn't able to run. And then some of our girls were out as well. So it'll be fun to kind of get a full strength team in a couple of weeks here. But I was really proud of the approach the kids had, the effort they had. I felt like everyone really ran the race to the best of their ability. And now as a coach, I get to take that data and help them learn, okay, what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, and what do we need to work on in practice, workout-wise. So it was really fun, good to be together as a team, and just to finally sort of start the season out in the road towards that end of the season.
Yeah, as a coach, you get to really shape an important process, which is you've kind of alluded to coming into the first meet of the year and then making improvements and strides all the way to the state meet, the last meet of the year, which it'll probably be pretty cold at that point. What is your strategy, or what are your thoughts on how you can get these boys and girls teams and these student athletes to get to a spot where they can run to their best ability by the state meet in Carrollton?
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of it is mental and just sharpening over the course of a season. Sometimes in that first race, there's a little bit of fear, a little bit of uncertainty, and so we get to shake that off. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it physically. The 5K is an interesting race in that it's very aerobic. You need to be fit, but you also need to have some speed and some strength, especially Carrollton's a very hilly course, so you have factors at play there. One thing we're really working on is race strategy. When it comes to those postseason races, you're racing for place and not for time, so we're trying to learn how to do that with a lot of young runners, and we have a lot of runners both on the boys and the girls side that are not super experienced at the varsity level, so helping them learn how to be patient and wait and strike when the time is right in the race. We also have some very experienced runners who have mastered that and are excellent racers and are setting a good example. So there's really a lot more strategy, I think, than most people realize goes into it, but a lot of physical work that needs to go in. And when to work on speed, when to work on endurance, when to work on building those certain things in. So yeah, it's complex, and you also have individuals. Every kid is different and has different physical, emotional needs. But that's, I think, what makes it so fun is you get to create a plan, see how it's going, and adjust on the fly. So no day of practice is really exactly what you'd expect, which is fun.
Yeah, last question I got for you. We've talked a lot about cross country. I want to talk a little bit about your experience at Whitefield. You may be from one of the biggest Whitefield families, one of the few biggest Whitefield families over the school's history, in that your dad has taught here for a long time. Your mom joined the upper school faculty this year. You are a lifer, had siblings go through here. What does it mean when you kind of look back at all your Whitefield experiences to be on the upper school faculty now, to be head coach of a team you poured a lot into, and just be at this school every day now in your professional career?
Yeah, I think it really is a special place that maybe I didn't realize when I was going here, just because it was so normal to me with my dad having taught here before I went here. But a big part of the reason my family moved from Alabama to here when I was young was for this school. I think Whitefield provides a really unique blend of Christ-centered at the front, but also excellence in academics. I was formed academically by all of my teachers here, some great teachers, and was able to go on to college extremely prepared, but also athletic excellence. We're competitive in a lot of sports. We have, all the sports you could want, great coaches, great teams. And so we have this awesome blend of just excellence in things like academics and athletics, but also making sure we keep Christ at the core. And I think that blend of excellence and also Christ really formed me into who I am. Those are kind of two things I really care about, and I care about shaping our program and my classroom towards is let's give our best to the work we've been given on that day, but let's make sure we're giving our best for Christ. And so having been poured into by my dad, who's a teacher here, obviously the other teachers and coaches that I had, it just really is a blessing to be able to come back. Maybe not everyone's dream to work at their high school with both of their parents, but it really is fun to be able to just give back in the ways that I've received, both in the classroom and out there with the team.
All right, that's Zach Justice. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for this week's edition of the Wolfpack Sports Wire. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.